Hey guys, in today's video, I want to teach you how to get ready for a tennis match. But before we get started, take a look at these beautiful pillows here. Give this video a like and subscribe to the Intuitive Tennis YouTube channel. But this video is going to be super important, guys, because I have a match tomorrow at 9 a.m. Right now, it's 7:45 p.m. and the preparation for the match starts the day before. So this is what you have to do the day before. First of all, you're going to eat a nice dinner based on starch. What I'm going to eat tonight is a nice pasta meal. I want my glycogen levels to be up, but there's more things that I got to do tonight. I'm going to have to go to bed early, 10 p.m. It's 7:27 a.m. I'm picking up my daughter. We're going to drive to school. We'll get to school at 7:50. Now my match is at 9 o'clock and I got to drive 20 minutes to get to the courts, which leaves me with 50 minutes to get ready and get warmed up. The good news is I woke up early. I had a good night of sleep. I had oatmeal for breakfast. I got plenty of time to digest the food. And one tip that I can give you is that you never want to play a match on an empty stomach. There's a chance that you're going to run out of gas. You might be okay. There might be some glycogen storages in your system, but if you play for a long time, you might run out of them and you're going to end up losing a match. You're going to be completely dead. It happened to me several times, so that's not going to happen today. I ate breakfast. I'm feeling good. And another important tip that I can give you is to get to the site where your match is being held with plenty of time. You want to get there at least 45 minutes before your match starts. Time pressure is one of the biggest causes of stress, and you don't want that when you're playing a match. You get there early, gives you plenty of time to relax, to settle yourself after getting out of the car, and gives you plenty of time to warm up. So I got at least 45 minutes at the site where I'm going to play the match to start getting my body ready, because right now I'm feeling kind of heavy. It's normal for my age. When I wake up in the morning, I don't feel too loose. So the warm-up process is going to be crucial if I'm going to play well. Okay guys, I made it to the courts later than I expected. It's 8:27 now. I got caught in a little bit of traffic, and this is another reason why you should give yourself plenty of time to get to your tournament, get to your match, because you never know what's going to happen with traffic. I can tell you one story. One time I was playing a tournament in Hallandale Beach at the Diplomat Country Club, and I got caught in a traffic jam. I was late, and I called the tournament director notifying him that I was going to be late, and it had already been 15 minutes since the match was supposed to begin. And I called him, and I was very close to the tournament. He told me, "Nick, if you don't make it here in 5 minutes, I'm going to have to default you." And so I ended up making it there, and I played the match, but I got a 3-game penalty, and I started the match down love 3, and the guy that I was playing wanted 2 breaks, which I argued about. I wanted 1 break, 3 love down, but he ended up getting 2 breaks, and I got so angry, which was a great lesson to always leave enough time for things like traffic and things that are outside of your control. This is what you should plan for, and again, get to the tournament at least 45 minutes before your match starts. So now I still got a half hour to get ready. Plenty of time. Okay guys, let the warm-up process begin. I'm going to start off with shadow strokes. This is something that you can do anywhere. It doesn't have to be on the court. And the reason why I like this is because I can do it while moving, and by mimicking the actual stroke, I'm warming up the important body parts that are needed for tennis. So I'm going to start off with some lateral movement. I'm going to do this maybe for 30 seconds or so, just going side to side and taking dry swings. Got me breathing right away, which is super important. The goal of a tennis warm-up is obviously to get your body warmed up. How do you know your body's warmed up? When you break a sweat. My dad always used to say, you're not warmed up properly until you start breaking a sweat. Well, now I'm going to work a little bit on diagonal movement, so I'm going to go diagonally this way, back to the middle, back pedal, and then diagonally this way. And there it is. Again, out of breath is good. This is a good sign. Let me start getting my body ready. Now I'm going to do backwards movement. Diagonal, that backwards movement, because in tennis you have to move in so many different directions. You have to use muscles that you don't even know you're using. So I'm a big fan of all the different tennis warm-up methods. I'm a fan of bands. I'm a fan of running around the court and getting your body loosened up, but nothing beats what I'm doing right here. For me personally, this is the absolute perfect tennis warm-up because I'm doing exactly what I'm going to be doing once the match starts. So now, let's get busy with the diagonal backwards movement. And here, I can start working a little bit on more open stance. Okay. Okay, next thing I'm going to warm up is the volley and overhead movement. And I'm not going to be at the net to do this. Again, guys, you can do this anywhere. You can do this in a parking lot. It doesn't matter. So basically, I'm going to move up, mimic a volley, back up, and then mimic an overhead. Okay, next thing on the list is a serve, and this is one of the oldest warm-up methods that's out there. Is this looping motion on the serve, where basically pick your racket up, drop it, go up, down, and loop it in the front. Let me show you from this side. This is an exercise that's great to loosen the shoulder. Now it can involve the left side too. Right here, this is perfect. Get that shoulder nice and warmed up. A couple more. There you go. Good. Very good. And guys, for my old carcass to be ready for a match play, I have to bend. And there's a drill that's usually done with a coach. But since I'm by myself, I can do this alone. Basically, I'm going to roll the ball this way. I'm going to go down, lunge, grab the ball, and then put it back on the racket. Would be with a coach, but you don't have to do that. You roll it like this. Again, lunge, grab the ball, and back around the racket. Roll it, come up to it, lunge, and then again, one more time. Roll it, lunge, grab it. And now you're working on getting low. This is probably my biggest weakness, is bending. And now, that's not all. Now you can mimic the same thing with hitting forehands, backhands, and volleys. So I'm going to start with volleys. I'm going to lunge and come back. And I'm going to lunge, I'm going to come back. See, I'm very weak in this area because both of my knees are pretty destroyed. And our backhand side, oh, it hurts. And forehand side, there we go. Oh man, that does not feel good, but it's good to do this now rather than in a match. Do a couple more. Ooh, does not feel good, but I'm getting warmed up. Guys, another great way to warm up for tennis is to hit against the wall. But most places don't have a wall, but every single place is going to have a fence on the court. So you can try doing this exercise where you're hitting against the fence and keeping the ball in play. Let me try it again. You hit against the fence and you keep the ball in play. The ball is not going to bounce back very far, but the sensation of hitting and you moving from side to side to the ball is a nice little warm-up exercise. Make sure you don't hit the fence too hard. You don't break anything. You can try it too in the air with volleys like this. Now back inside. There you go. This is beautiful. Now I have the sensation of hitting the ball. Another thing that a lot of players ignore, especially at the recreational level, is warming up the wrist. So wrist exercises like this one, again, the wrist nice and loose, super important. Rolling the wrist like this, because the wrist is used in tennis, no doubt about it. The wrist gets used in many different ways. And so it's important to use the wrist and get it nice and loose and nice and mobile prior to playing. I'm not quite done yet. There's one more exercise that I'm going to do. And it's the following one. There is jumping in tennis, especially when we're jumping for an overhead. So I'm going to start jumping up. But not only that, I'm also going to use a little bit of my abs by pulling my leg to the side. Let me show you from this side. Right leg is going to go to the left and then vice versa. And I'm going to get off the ground. This is an exercise that's super important in tennis because, guys, there are situations on the court where you do indeed need to jump. And you got to get your body ready for these movements. Let me turn around and do one more round. Here it is. Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. Get ready. Yes. And last one. All right, here's the big test, guys. Take a look. You see the sweat? I broke a sweat, which means I'm warmed up for tennis. And guys, there's only one other thing that's better than the warm-up I just did, and that's actually playing tennis. So if you ever have a chance to warm up for your match by actually playing tennis, that is the absolute best, and that's what all the pros do. They'll probably go through a warm-up session similar to what I did, but probably with some bands, probably a lot more dynamic stretching prior, and most likely with some exercise where they're throwing a ball. They were going to do a really high-tech workout, and let's face it, a lot of us have busy schedules and don't have 2 hours time to prepare for a tennis match. So if you're in a time constraint, I find that what I just did there was absolutely a perfect warm-up because it mimics the exact movements that are going to be happening on the court. But even better than that would be if you just grab someone and you hit for 10-15 minutes. That would be even better. If you have all the time in the world and you're more of an advanced recreational player or a high-level player, maybe you want to invest quite a bit of time into your warm-up, and before every practice do a procedure that you would see professional players do. And if you want to know in great detail what some of those exercises are, you can check out my other video where I discuss in great depth how to warm up in tennis. And guys, now the sweat is really starting to roll, so I am really warmed up. And this took a good half hour, this whole procedure, because I did take breaks in between. So again, take a lot of time for the warm-up, and I'm going to tell you what the most common mistake is that I see, not only at the recreational level, but even at the high level sometimes, where players don't warm up and they use the actual warm-up to warm up their body. And there's nothing more annoying than that. I'm sure you've seen players that will ask for like 25 overheads and it just take forever to warm up. That's not actually what the warm-up is for in a match. It should be 5 minutes, bam, done. You take a couple of shots, you loosen up a little bit, maybe scout your opponent out. That's what a warm-up is for. It's not actually there for you to warm up. Do not waste people's time. Do not waste your own time, and warm up prior to the match starting. So guys, when you warm up prior to the actual warm-up starting, you can concentrate in the actual warm-up on scouting. You can check your opponent out and see whether they have some deficiencies from the baseline. And you don't have to be worried about yourself warming up. Now you're already prepared. You could start the match right away, and you can commit the entire warm-up to scouting your opponent and finding weaknesses. And guys, another thing that I recommend that you do when the match starts is try to extend the rallies as long as possible. Don't go for winners, extend the rallies, which can not only help you warm up even better, but also loosen some of the nerves that are very common in the beginning of a tennis match. You can see that I look like I just jumped in a pool, completely drenched. So I'm absolutely warmed up for this match. I'm going to check in with you guys once the match is over. Okay guys, that was a high level match. I played really well, and I'm happy I warmed up because I didn't waste time in the match trying to warm up, or didn't waste my opponent's time and my own time trying to warm up in the warm-up. So the way I look at it, it can give you several advantages when you warm up for a tennis match properly. Number one, it can serve as injury prevention. Let's face it, if you do this diligently, your body is going to thank you. If you get into a match cold and you put your body to the test, if you're not warmed up, you can get hurt. So that's factor number one. And factor number two, and this is something that I learned in the great book Winning Ugly from Brad Gilbert. There are certain things in tennis that you can control, and there are certain things in tennis that you can't control. For example, you can't control if your opponent comes out and blows you off the court. You can't even control sometimes how you're playing. You're going to try your best, but there's going to be days where you're playing really well. There's going to be days when you're going to be off. But the things that you can control are, for example, the warm-up. This is something that you have full control over, and it's something that you should do every single time. And not only is it injury preventative, like I already mentioned, but it can definitely help you play better tennis.